Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Federico Hernandez, and welcome to the Rum Lab at Zavvi.co. Super excited. We're in the holidays, which is great. I'm super excited to be here with my friend Jodi. When I first met her, I'm like, oh my God, this girl is so pretty. And she dominated everything in El Dorado. So smart and pretty, like, bam, what awesome. But super knowledgeable. And so we want to talk about today about El Dorado Rum 25, but in general, talk more about all the history, about Guyana, and the same thing about El Dorado. So really quickly, for those who are new here or watching us for the first time, to our right, we have the chat box. I see some good activity. Good to see you already. Dave, Todd, Bruce, Brad, who else? Justin, John, Will. This is great. Thank you so much for joining us already. And these are just the people that I've seen that are just already writing on the chat box. If you have any questions during the event, make sure to share them right below where it says ask questions. If you have some time, share the event. If you're watching us right now on Facebook, come on to Zavvi, which is zavvy.co, so you can participate from the live stream and ask questions to Jodi. Today's agenda is going to be 30-40 minutes talking about the main presentation, 1 or 2 minutes sharing about some contact information. Hopefully, then we'll go to our Q&A. All right. Today's topic, the uniqueness of El Dorado 25 years old, rum. Special guest, Jodi Curtis. You guys don't understand how hard, or you ladies and everybody, I was to get this profile picture. I was like, but she was able to send me something, which is great.
I don't take pictures of myself. Stop.
Let me bring Jodi here so she can say, and everybody can see this awesome person. Hi, Jodi.
Hi, Fed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said all of that. I don't take pictures of myself. I'm sorry.
I know, you know what I've been doing? I've been taking screenshots all this moment. So now I'm going to be able to send you pictures of yourself.
Oh my gosh. I'm probably going to start blushing, Lord.
Well, Jodi, before we start, can you share a little bit who you are? What do you do for DDL?
Sure. I am one of the brand managers for DDL in the USA. I share half of the country with one other person, Ms. Danica Singh, my partner in crime.
Wait, but do you both live in the East Coast, right? Or no?
Yes, we both live on the East Coast. I am located in New York, and she is in Florida, where our office is.
Got it. So she's working. She works or she spends time with Ian.
Yes, she gets to see Ian. Ian and Paula in office.
He's such a character. He's such a nice person.
Indeed.
So how long have you been working with El Dorado?
This is my 3rd year with El Dorado.
Okay, congrats. And I think we should get started. So today, really quickly, everybody, what we did is that we had launched. Let me bring that over here 1 second. I'm going to change screens. Because today we launched El Dorado infographics. Let me share it right here. It's beautiful. And you can see it at therumlab.com. So we did a special infographic for El Dorado 25-year-old, the Grand Special Reserve. And this is basically what we're going to go through. I shared the link already right below. There's a green button. And to your right on the chat box, there's a link as well that you can access this beautiful light infographic. But let's get it started. I think the first thing we should talk about is Guyana. It went from, of what I know, the Dutch conquered Guyana, then the British came, and then it became independent. But if you can tell us a little bit more, I'm curious why English is the main language of Guyana when it's not Dutch, and whatever information you want to share, and then we can continue chatting here.
Sure. I would love to go into the presentation if we can, so I shed a little light on Guyana. I love that you asked the question, why do they speak English? Since the British were the last to colonize, that was the official language of the country. So they hold that special title of being the only English-speaking country in South America because of this. Excuse me if I keep looking to the side, saying that I can't see myself. I'm also like looking at the live stream as well on a separate screen.
Jodi, you look great. It's okay, but just make sure the information is correct. That's all we ask. Okay.
Of course. Okay. So for you guys at home, Guyana, home of El Dorado, and of course the fine Demerara rums, is located on the northern east coast of South America and is about 5 degrees above the equator. To the west, we have Venezuela. To the east, Suriname, and of course in the south, we're touching onto Brazil. The country is often referred to as like the land of many waters because of all the different rivers that actually flow through there. And like I just touched on, it is the only English-speaking country on the continent. Approximately about 75% of the land mass of Guyana is still pristine rainforest. Having the coastline below sea level and at high tide requiring an intricate system of canals that were designed by the Dutch to facilitate drainage and irrigation of thriving agricultural lands, along with Guyana's coastal region being below sea level, they built seawalls to keep all of the water out.
And have you seen this yourself? Like how the walls are, and then is this everywhere or just primarily on the capital?
No, so majority of the population lives on the coastline. So the entire coast is all bordered by this seawall that's basically keeping the seawater out from coming back in and reclaiming the land.
And then, so that through like from Venezuela all the way to Suriname, there's a wall, or just
there's specific areas where they need to have the wall, just where the land's reclaimed.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
No problem. All right, Demerara, the place. Guyana is actually divided into 3 different counties. You have Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice, which are basically the major rivers that are flowing along and leading out into the Atlantic Ocean. Like I said, it was covered before by the Atlantic and then recovered by the Dutch in the early 1600s. And using their ingenious land reclamation methods, they successfully reclaimed it, resulting or leaving soils that were largely composed of marine alluvial deposits, high in minerality, nutrients and organic matter, paving the way for the thriving sugarcane cultivation in the 1650s. So one of the main reasons that the Dutch were interested in Guyana is because they saw where they could grow these amazing crops based on the high minerality soil that was left behind after they reclaimed the land. So I hope that gives a little insight.
And then,
can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I'm here. So in the infographic, we're sharing a little bit of the. So I'm going to bring it back here. Boop, 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 boop. The high on a high level, right? You were sharing about the water, the impressive. Well, we didn't talk about the waterfall, right? Which is super important. Is which is well known for that. It is the only speaking English country in South America. Then Guyana, which means lands of many waters. And then so they talks about there's 6 ethnic groups. Do you know about this? Like, is that different?
Of course. So in Guyana, along with these sugar estates and these sugar plantations, of course, they have attracted different indentured servants, slaves, and so on and so forth from around the world. So majority or more than half the country is of East Indian descent. The other 36% is about Black, and then they also have Chinese, Portuguese, and then the Amerindian population is there as well, and then, of course, others. So it's a very mixed up, melting pot kind of culture going on in Guyana.
It's very humid, being so close to the equator.
So humid. Oh, my goodness. Every time I'm there, I'm always dying and just As soon as you step out of the door, it's just moist. Just great for the skin. It averages a temperature around about 75 to 80 degrees year round. There's no really mix in seasons or anything. It just keeps at that tropical temperature.
Understood. So the majority of Guyana is still part of the Amazon forest. And is Guyana, do they try to protect that as much as they can? So from deforestation?
100%. Yes. They have the Iwakama rainforest, which is all protected land. So unlike Brazil, which may be like burning it down, Guyana is still preserving those rainforests and lands and maintaining that, what's it, the lungs of the earth, basically.
Yeah. Excellent. So let's talk about DDL, a little bit about the history. On the infographics, we have 5 bullet points of different ages, but we'll let here Jodi, I'm going to share her screen and deep dive a little bit more into this.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about like rum production and then how it ended up with DDL, right? So
yes, so we're going to basically go through a little early history of sugar and rum production, because sugar and rum production are kind of intricate in the form, or since the inception of the country, they've gone hand in hand. So leading up until DDL became the last distillery there were over 300 different distilleries. So we're just going to do like a little time frame for everyone to see how it came to be. So about 1650, the story of rum in Guyana started with the introduction of sugarcane by the early European settlers. So you want to think not too long after Columbus first introduced cane to the New World. By 1670, the foundation of early rum production in Guyana was laid down with the establishment of distilling into the new territories by the British. So at this point, the British came and took over from the Dutch, and they introduced distilling into Guyana. By 1780, there were over 300 distilleries in British Guyana producing their own unique rums, and each, of course, identified by specific marks identifying their origin. So for example, the PM, being the double wooden pot still, was named after the sugar plantation in which it was first resurrected or first put up. The Enmore EHP, same thing, and then Eidflocht with the ICBU, which is our French Saval. So each of them get their names based on whichever plantation or sugar plantation that they were founded on. By 1880, with the introduction of excise tax on sugar and rum, exported to the UK and Europe, estates and distilleries began to close down and consolidate. So there started to be an amalgamation of all of the different distilleries that were there. And by 1942, only 9 consolidated distilleries remained active, producing rums. These estates and their marks were, of course, listed: AN, B, LBI, SWR, ICBU, VSG, HP, Diamond SUW, and the Port Morant. And consolidation occurred throughout the years until there was that final merger. Guyana gained its independence in 1966, changing it from British Guyana to just Guyana by itself. And in 1976, a transition from British to Guyanese ownership throughout the rum industry occurred. This included the shift from being producers of just bulk rums to being bottlers of local brands, unlocking prohibition from local ownership of branded rums, which is awesome because this comes into play with when they first decided to do the 25-year and were able to pick reserves dating back to about 1975, 1976 that were laid down to age. By 1992.
Jodi, sorry to interrupt you. I have a question. So it says the transformation from the British to Guyanese ownership throughout the rum industry occurred. So what happened with those 300 distilleries before? So who did they belong? Who they belong to?
They were belonging to proprietors who owned the sugar plantations, but they were selling their bulk rum or their merchant rum through the British government.
Got it. And then understood. So there were British people that had settled there, and they were just producing bulk rum, selling it, but it was not owned by the locals.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All right. By 1992, the El Dorado range of Demerara rums was launched as a premium quality aged rum, starting with El Dorado 15-year-old Special Reserve. And this rum pioneered the introduction of El Dorado onto the world marketplace. So this was the first age statement that was put under or released under the El Dorado brand. And then consequently, it followed with 12, and so on and so forth. And by 1998, the final merger of the last remaining estates and the transfer of the remaining stills and expertise were taken to the Diamond Distillery on the east bank of the Demerara River, where we reside now in Great Diamond. So a little history and time. Today, the Diamond Distillery is owned and operated by DDL, Demerara Distillers Limited, and it is the only remaining distillery in Demerara and in Guyana. Remember, Demerara is a region. It's also the only producer of Demerara rums in the world. This distillery operates about 14 stills, 9 of which are famous heritage stills, which were moved from estates across the country. These heritage stills include 3 pot stills, the double wooden pot named Port Morant, the Versailles VSG, which is our single wooden pot still, a diamond high ester pot still, and then we have 6 continuous stills. The EHP, which is the last wooden coffee still still in production in the world, 2 4-column metal French Laval stills, and of course 3 metal coffee stills.
Yeah, I'm eager to see how I've never seen it in person. I'd love to see a wooden still. And I know you have it later on in the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
With the infographic, right? So we talk about here. We're talking about the 5 different aspect of history: the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, all the way to 2000s, and the different ranges of rum that the company created. It was great to know that El Dorado 15 was the first expression created that was under the DDL as a group.
It was. Mm-hmm.
And then through, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have moved some of the equipments from different distilleries and brought them all over to or closer to each other, so that way they're not so far apart.
Right. So now all of the stills are housed under one roof. They've been moved from the previous sugar plantations or distilleries that they were originally on, and everyone is at Diamond under the DDL roof.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think I don't have good pictures. I'm gonna change back to your slide so we can share. So you can share us a little bit more about the distillation and the distillery.
Sure. All right, some wooden still highlights. You have the Port Morant, which they're not the best photos, and I apologize, but at the distillery, everything is actually like really put together really tightly. So getting the best angles is not always there, but the double wooden pot still PM was originally installed at the Port Morant estate that was founded in 1732. The extra character and depth of rum from this still made it as a choice of the Royal Navy, which had begun issuing an official daily ration of rum to its sailors. So such great history behind the Port Morant still, and I always get asked questions about this particular one. With the closure of the Itluk estate in 1998, this still was moved to the Diamond Distillery in 99, where today it remains. So that gives you like a little background where you were asking about them being moved around. The PM was not there until 1999 under the Diamond roof. Look at Versailles, the single wooden pot